to groove. The psychedelic jackets on the record albums have their own hidden messages.
We don't want you to smoke genetically modified ganja. We want you to smoke the real thing. We want you to smoke the natural herb. Some call it marijuana, some call it sensibilia, some call it lamb's bread, and some people call it ganja.
Welcome to another edition of the Adam Dunn Show. I am your host, Adam Dunn.
And I'm your co-host, Mitch Shanasa.
And I'm the kid. Getting everything. We got like ZZ Top going on here with with only one beard.
Only one beard.
It's like
Everybody's
named beard. It's a trio. We're a trio today.
Oh, yeah?
I know. We're a trio.
Tree.
Oh.
Do you have your laptop ready?
Oh, I can't hear it because I have my headphones on, but you're right. It is silenced. The laptop is silenced.
This is silence?
No, we're good. We're good. We're good. We're good. We're
Boom,
good.
boom.
Boom, boom, boom. We're here. We're here. Technology.
Different camera angle. I'm a bit confused. We're all crazy.
I know.
We went
Who is
there.
that?
We're way over there now. Whoa.
So,
International Day.
yeah, we're because it's that day, right? What's
It
today?
is.
It's the Million Marijuana March.
It's going. Well, it's all month actually. It's all over different places, different times. I think 2 days ago it was in France, so they had one in France.
It'd be cool if
it's the
we
one
have
place
any
we,
French
it's the one
listeners.
place. Yeah, it's the one place we didn't get. So if there is a French listener, or you just happen to be in France, that's even better. Like if you're like you didn't even know what was going on, and then 1 million people were marching. It wasn't really 1 million. There's never quite 1 million at those million.
Total worldwide, maybe.
I think they're definitely worldwide. Would have to be. I'd hope.
Would have to be otherwise. What else?
Amsterdam was terrible. There always be like 30 people at those.
Because you don't need it there.
No one cared. They'd be like, "What march?" Now they do. Hopefully they have some real marches.
The cool thing, global cannabis
system?
reform means a lot more to you than me. Like I've been to America. I was in Canada once, and I've been to Mexico, and I've been to Amsterdam. I never been to South Africa or Spain or any of the places. A lot of the places we're hearing from
hopefully
today.
now that it's starting to.
Well, I
open
can't
up.
go there because weed's illegal. Obviously, there's just like no reason for me to go there.
Right now that these places are going to sort of chill out a little bit, I think you're going to see people. What's going on now?
Nothing. Sorry, the kid's having trouble monitoring.
TikTok. But no, we're going to see people now. Hey, I think I can travel there now because there's a whole new.
It's worth going.
There's a whole new side to it.
But do they have good herb? Is the question. Just because they have herb doesn't mean.
I mean, the thing is, back in the day, even when we were traveling, you were getting crappy herb all the time too when you were traveling.
That's why I didn't travel. I only traveled to Amsterdam.
But sometimes you scored here and there, and if you knew the right people, which is now
Which is
becoming a lot easier.
Yeah, especially if you know the right guy. Hey, I know high folks in places. I don't know people in high places, but I know high people in places.
Yeah, very good.
Was actually Adam's business card for a while.
Thanks for that. Thanks for that. But no, in general, it was. Back in the day, it was a lot harder because there was no internet and there was no, fucking Instagram, and people didn't just like instantly know where they were or who the people around them. It was like we had to work hard. Man. It was hard work.
It was.
And now the walls are breaking down, and some places the walls are going up. So we're gonna travel the world today.
Travel it. Yeah. And other new shit. What do we got that's new this week? New. Oh, you know what we got? We got a chat. We got a forum now.
We have our own forum.
Yeah, if you go to adamdunshow.com.
I was informed of the forum.
You were informed?
I was informed.
Nice.
About 5 seconds ago.
You go to adamdunshow.com. There's right to the right of home is forum. You click forum. Boop. Scrolls down. And I have the reference material. Basically, when we have notes from the show or links or whatever, I'm going to post them here. So it stays there rather than in the chat where it like scrolls away real quick and then no one can see it.
Nice.
Also, Matt Riot is on here posting, speculating. Is Adam Dunn, as Adam himself has wondered, the guy from 300?
Oh, yeah. I've had a few people reference
I know. It's good that someone you're not the only one. Not only people who...
I wanted to do 300 grams of weed versus like all the fucking weed in the world, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And have a little like claymation thing.
They're Persian, so it's got to be hash. It's got to be 300 grams of weed versus all the hash.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Just like, kind of a animation version would be pretty dope.
Nice. So, all right, who are we talking to today? You want to go over it? We got first up.
Give us the list.
All right, first up, we got Greg from Cure UK.
My buddy Greg. Yeah.
You know him well, yeah?
Yeah,
I
yeah,
didn't know
he
that till after I booked him.
Yeah, no, it's awesome. He used to come by the shop, or I'm sure he still does. And yeah, he's pretty much the UK activist in my mind. It was funny when you said, like, I was like, who'd you get from the
Who
UK?
could you possibly have got?
Who'd you get? And I was like, oh, well, there you go.
Well,
So
you got the one, yeah.
He's got the one good guy. No, there's other people there obviously fighting the fight, but he's been doing it for longer than most, that's for sure. And he's been over here, and he knows what's up. And
He's knowledgeable. He
He's
talks about it like an American talks about
sure
cannabis, whereas that's level of sophistication is not necessarily there. Then we got the folks from Cannabis, Sweden.
Cannabis, yeah.
Nelly and Jens calling in. Big ups to CC for setting that up.
Yeah, that was tough too because
And that's
apparently one of them is what complete opposite sides of Sweden, right? One's really north,
that's
and
real
one's really
tough.
That's
south.
tough with the internet.
Well,
yeah.
Internet. It's the internet.
You know, because we're sitting here in Colorado.
I mean, really think about it. That's like trying to.
But it is
permanently
interesting.
set up
Sweden is a very long country,
it's
right?
very cool that we have extremes now. We have the opposite polar opposites.
Polar opposites. Dun, 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 dun. Is northern Sweden like the North Pole, pretty much?
It is. It's
Wow.
Like, it is Santa land.
Yeah.
We can ask them mostly questions about Santa.
They have reindeer and
It'll be
mushrooms that
mostly-
make you
yeah.
fly.
Oh, we can do the mushroom time. Oh.
That's way off topic, but let's do it.
We'll go
Sure.
straight-
Let's tie
we'll
back
go-
to the Christmas episode.
Let's go
and-
straight to mushrooms.
Yeah. Then we got Jessica LaRue, the Cheesecake Lady.
Oh,
She was at.
She's coming out.
Where's she? It's a good show, right? She was at the Cannabis Economic Conference in New York.
I saw that part. I didn't see.
Yeah, so she went to this conference, and they were like, "Well,
I know she was.
do
there.
not take notes or tell this to anyone else." So she was
saw
like
it.
live tweeting from the
I
event.
saw that.
So we're gonna get her to say it all on the internet, of course.
Yeah.
Then we got the Daga couple in South Africa. They're major activists. I'll post their website too. They sent me a link today. Major activists down in South Africa and definitely seem to be leading the way. Our African Connect. Remember our South African buddy who called in, who's a listener.
Mm-hmm.
He connected me with them, and they seem to be like the Cure UK equivalents,
Right.
as far as personalities. Then we got your buddies. Who do we got?
We got,
Who do we got?
What we got from Barcelona is going to give us. I mean, he's not really much of an activist because I think we're going to do positive, and we're going to hit places that are really on the up. Like Barcelona right now, there's more clubs than here because there's nothing here going on proper. But they have really a plethora of clubs there that are all in all styles, and he's a sort of integral part of the whole scene there. He's been on our show before, Elgato, but he's also was responsible for that awesome grow in High Times back in the day, which was, of course, we were at the top of the list, so it was the best thing ever. But no, in general, it was a fucking awesome endeavor because he did 127 varieties.
Oh, that's awesome.
And documented it like top quality.
Yeah.
And in the jungle, and like just awesome. Just like all about it was like just the photos of the washing machines, how clean they were. Like he had like on donkeys, he brought them.
Oh, he's the dude who did the donkeys.
Exactly, the donkey dude. I don't know if he wants
Nice,
to be known as the
nice.
donkey dude. And then we have Dr. Barnhill, which is from a company called Apollon, and they're in Jamaica. Again, not activists. These guys are, going to be part of an integral system down there, I think, and it's about to happen. That place just announced pretty much legalization, right? So it's getting crazy. The world's getting crazy. So he just happens to be there. So I thought we'd see what the man on the street.
It's about time. It's
man on
free
the street in Jamaica.
Yeah, that because it's like different phases. Because like, all right, they're past the point, not past the point of activism, but the activism's worked there, and just logic has worked there.
I mean, and again, it's not like it was ever highly frowned upon there anyway. I mean, I've been there multiple times, and literally from the second you get off the damn plane, people at the airport offer you ganja. From the second you get off the plane, people who work
but is
at
it
the airport.
good ganja?
No, oh, absolutely not. No,
Which
I've
is
gotten
the
some of the
point.
worst ones from airport employees. However,
Of course, the airport.
Airport employees
Well,
sell
well,
bad
no.
weed. The thing, like two people are like, "Oh man, I'm glad I
But could you
glad
imagine
I
if our
tuned in to learn
TSA
something today."
Could you
know,
imagine
like,
if our TSA, like, you just flew into Denver and TSA was like, yo, come here.
need some herb?
You need some herb?
Yeah, I could imagine that actually. I saw the dudes Seattle TSA and the baggage handlers all
the
rip
weed
their
they're
vape
taking
pens.
on the people.
Really?
It'd be
Yeah.
like
That's cool.
The weed on the people going out of town leave their weed and they
in the
just sell
amnesty
it.
bin, and they just pick it up and sell it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's what I would imagine. So we got like kind of a pretty worldwide.
Yeah, we're going around the world today,
around the world.
and we want to thank everyone for the crazy response last week.
Yeah, great response. to last
Over
week's episode.
3,000 views in a week. That doesn't happen often.
And I can finally announce that after today's episode, all the podcasts are done, ready to go. They
Oh,
will
that's a
be,
I don't know.
ballsy
Are
claim.
you
They're
really
done.
claiming this? Are you
It's
claiming
not even a claim. It's done. They're done, ready to go.
They're
in waiting
converted to
form.
MP3,
They're-
ID3 tagged.
I have a converter. We need to convert them to MP3. They'll be uploaded after the show,
All right.
including
There's a
including
possibility
this
of the
episode.
technical. There's a possibility we can have tech talk
There's
after
no,
this.
it's all done. So after this
talk.
episode, the podcast will be up, and we're gonna start. I'm gonna start working on cutting all the videos together to make sure that they look okay too.
Right on.
Got some news.
What do you got?
I don't know. I haven't
more
heard the
intro
sound.
stuff?
There's a sound that
There's
I
a
hear usually
specific
before I read
news sound that you like to hear.
News.
from the Daily Caller survey, majority of Americans support legal marijuana. The General Social Survey, an authoritative study of public opinion conducted every 2 years, has found for the first time ever 52% of Americans support marijuana legalization, while 42% oppose. Approximately 7% remain undecided. A total of 1,600.
Too high to make a decision at that point. Like, too high. So they're
1,687 respondents were asked about legal marijuana during the groundwork for the survey last year.
How many?
1,687.
It's not very many.
No, that's how 323 people represent our whole listener
I understand,
pool.
but that's still a pretty small for that.
It's
kind of a major
statistically relevant sample, buddy.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
All
it's
right,
weird. Once you get over a certain number,
Yeah.
it's weird.
It's weird. That's what it is.
Since 1990, when support across the country was pegged at just 16%. Can you believe that? Since
People were
1990.
retarded.
So in
Is
1990, there was only 16% of people who thought that
Everyone
weed
was
should
on
be legal.
coke back then. They were all cokeheads. They didn't care.
Is that what it was?
Yeah, pretty much.
And you started TH Seeds 89 or 90? Right around then, yeah?
No, I was still working at Sensi then. I was in 93 when I started.
Plus, I feel like you have to take in consideration too how many people actually then were for it and didn't want to come out and say, "Hey."
Well, and that's the other
It was
thing.
also like Gulf War time, and all the shit was going down, and people were lame. It was like the lamest time. It was one of,
Was that the lamest time for America? We
it
look
was
back.
one of the lamest times. Yeah, that's one.
Did
of
you
the,
try to play it down when you lived in Amsterdam? Like, oh,
I
no, I'm
hated America.
Canadian. I'm Canadian.
No, I hated him. I was like adamantly against America.
You
When
were
I was,
adamantly?
yeah, adamantly. Yeah. No, but
I was
definitely-
done with America.
I was totally adamantly done with America. Yeah, exactly. That's how I would say it. Nice. Coined phrases.
Keep pulling you back in.
Yeah, exactly. The beard kept me going.
Adamantly done.
You like that, huh? No, but the vibe there was so lame. It was really weird. I worked at The reason I got a job at Sensi is because it was so like meager at that time. Any American that actually came over was pretty cool, you know, because they didn't care about the war, and they didn't because people were getting warned like, don't go to Europe and don't do this, don't go to Amsterdam, don't, you know, there was like every day something, and all we did literally was sit in Sensi and watch like missiles go down fucking chimneys and shit, you know, because that was all they showed on TV,
Right.
and it was like rammed down, and then you know how they changed that vibe. Like later on, they were like, we shouldn't have done that because that was kind of like entertaining people with violence,
With war.
You know what I mean? And it was like literally exactly what people wanted to see. You know what I
No,
mean?
it was,
They were like, yeah, look at that, chain guns, and you know,
it
all
could
that-
only be better if you gave them controllers and they could actually control the soldiers.
Exactly.
That would be the only way to make war
exactly.
better
No, but
for
it was
Americans.
crazy. So it was like a weird, sick kind of time. You know what I mean? Like I'm so glad I had escaped America. I was like, I'm so glad.
So
I'm
only
here.
16% at that time were in favor of legalization.
Yeah, so
now it's 55%. So it's a different
That's
time.
awesome. That's awesome.
It's different.
They grew up.
but it's-
They all grew up.
To me, what's even
They
cooler
all
though
growed up.
is that voters in Colorado, it was 55%. Now it's 58%. So it's like, now that we've been convinced it should have been legal all along, and that to me is almost more telling.
yeah.
Well, that's
all right.
good. Good.
The first of a bunch of kind of ridiculous news items.
There's a good. I like that headline.
NYPD, a Washington Post. NYPD commissioner blames legal marijuana in Colorado for increase in New York shootings.
Why? Because they have better weed over there to deal with, or something.
At a news conference Monday, New York Police Department Commissioner Bill Bratton blamed a slight uptick in violence in the city. 45 homicides at this point last year, 54 this year. In all of New York City, like 9. To go back to those statistical significances,
Yeah.
9 in New York City is not a statistically significant number, just to
No,
throw you that.
that's true. It seems kind of well. This is during this year alone, or that's what? So like we're talking the second month.
You know, it just says in New York. I couldn't tell you, buddy.
Okay.
The seemingly innocent drug that's been legalized, or this is a quote from the police commissioner, the guy who's in charge of the police, says, of the biggest police force in the country and probably in the world, the seemingly innocent drug that's been legalized around the country. In this city, people are killing each other over marijuana more so than anything we had to deal with in the 80s and 90s with heroin and cocaine.
Oh my God.
In some instances, it's a causal factor, but it's an influence in almost everything that we do here. So I think they're like, oh, there's weed here. Like these guys were smoking weed.
So they're trying to essentially say that now that Colorado has weed legal, it plays a part in pretty much everything that all of its residents do.
In this particular,
Well, blames them for the shootings and
right,
for
and
killing
right,
each other.
whether-
specifically for the increase, because there were 9 more shootings. He's almost saying that 9 people were shot this year over Colorado
Because
weed.
of
Is pretty
Colorado
much what
pot.
he's saying. Yeah.
Well, but did they again? But they neglect to mention that in the first year of recreational marijuana, in the recreational side alone, they made $60 million in taxes.
Yeah, but
And
now
if you
talking about
put-
Colorado.
Yeah, because we're talking about New York. This is New York. That's the other point.
But
Let's
that's what I
talk
mean,
about
they
this.
don't-
Oh,
Hold on.
This next one is the best.
Yeah, yeah. give me another ding. The DEA warns of stoned rabbits if Utah passes medical marijuana.
They're getting real desperate.
Stoned rabbits.
Yes,
Yes.
Utah.
I read this one.
Oh
This
my
is retarded.
God.
Utah is considering a bill that would allow patients with certain debilitating conditions to be treated with edible forms of marijuana. If the bill passes, the state's wildlife may, quote, cultivate a taste for the plant, lose their fear of humans, and basically be high all the time. That's according to testimony presented at a Utah Senate panel last week by an agent of the Drug Enforcement Administration. The exact quote is awesome.
Yeah.
I deal in facts. I deal in science, said Special Agent Matt Fairbanks, who's been working in the state for a decade. He is a member of the marijuana eradication team in Utah. Some of his colleagues in Georgia recently achieved notoriety by raiding a retiree's garden and seizing a number of okra plants. Fairbanks spoke of his time eliminating backcountry marijuana grows in the Utah mountains, specifically the environmental costs associated with large-scale weed cultivation on public land. Quote, personally, I have seen entire mountainsides subjected to pesticides, harmful chemicals, deforestation, and erosion. He said the ramifications to the flora, the animal life, the contaminated water are still unknown. Fairbanks said at some illegal marijuana grow sites he saw, quote, rabbits that had cultivated a taste for the marijuana. He continued, one of them refused to leave us, and we took all the marijuana around him, but his natural instincts to run were somehow gone.
That's amazing.
So
Such a dumb quote.
Dear, oh man, you're telling me an animal's going to hang around an area where it has food of its preference? No.
Well, this article points out that now regarding rabbits, some wild animals apparently do develop a taste for bud, and yes,
Do?
best to keep it away from your pets. But I don't know how that the occasional high rabbit constitutes grounds for keeping marijuana prohibition in place, any more than drunk squirrels
Right.
are an argument. Have you seen like the drunk monkeys and drunk
Yeah,
squirrels?
absolutely. They get into dumpsters and they sip up beer. And then you have
Drunk
squirrels that
monkeys
can't
hang out at
stand on-
resorts and they steal like the drinks, like when someone finishes half
I've
their
seen
cocktail.
that.
leaves
And
it.
like down in that's crazy.
Where's
I mean,
that?
I've
Mexico?
This is all like the resort places.
Yeah,
you know?
I've
Yeah,
even
resort
seen a
places.
video
Just
of
monkeys running
a
around
drunk
stealing
squirrel
money.
that somebody had filmed the squirrel getting out of a dumpster, like I had said, and it must have gotten into some alcohol, and it tried to
It
climb
must
up the
have
life.
gotten into.
It
It's like he's
had
trying to
have.
explain it to his mom.
And he
Like, I don't know what happened with the squirrel. It must have
gotten some
gotten
beer
some
somewhere or something, but it literally went up the power line, and the video just showed the squirrel like all wobbly, and then boom, right down from the power line. The squirrel fell.
Oh, the squirrel.
Damn high rabbits
Squirrel.
would have just
Say
been
squirrel real
chilling,
fast.
you
Say
know?
squirrel real fast.
Squirrel. But really, how much dry or like fresh plant herb do you think the rabbit would have to eat for it to actually get it high?
Someone just asked that question, and the fact is that if they're not eating fat chicks, they're not going to
That's
get
not
high.
I'm not even
gonna-
getting that high
right?
at all.
Doesn't activate.
Unless they got some milk.
Decarboxylation and doesn't occur and things like that. So I don't know how that's possible.
Yes, sir.
I think it would just, they can grind through that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
they-
Rabbit can grind through. Cece used to feed her rabbits. Some eggs.
Look what Cece made. Look at this. That's good. Mark, you be.
So nice.
News. What's going on?
News,
I
news,
don't even
news.
know. Sorry.
DC twofer. Tighter restrictions on marijuana use. Harsher DC pot advocates mellow. There's a correction in there. I'm gonna
Harshing
ignore.
people's mellow, bro. Don't harsh my mellow.
Adam Eidinger was flying high.
Oh, yeah,
as
that's
a
our buddy.
chairman.
That's my boy.
You know Adam?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
Chairman
Adam's-
of the DC Cannabis
Should we
campaign?
call him up?
If you want to get him on the phone quick,
I can see if we can get him on the show.
that would be good.
Yeah,
Right now?
I'll try.
Okay.
Let's see what's
All right,
up.
then we can have him tell the story.
Yeah, but keep talking. We'll see. Tell the story. Tell the story, and I'll see if I can get him on the line, and then we'll
I'll tell this other better DC story.
tell the
for
other
now.
story first. Exactly.
Okay.
and I'll see if I can-
News.
There you go.
News.
What?
News.
Oh, you want more news? I'm checking. That.
From the Washington Post, DC police return marijuana to arrestee at district station. Here's the new reality of the district's law on legalized pot. Get busted holding 2 ounces or less of weed, and the cops will give it back to you. It happened Monday night at the 6th District Police Station in Northeast. There was a community meeting of the Fort DuPont Civic Association going on, and some folks were a bit taken aback by what just a few days earlier would have been unthinkable. Council member Yvette Alexander, whose aides saw the transaction, took to Twitter to recount the tale.
Wait, her aides saw the transaction?
Her aide.
Her aide, so a person.
Yes.
She didn't.
Yes.
She doesn't have AIDS.
No.
Okay, just clarifying.
Yep.
What's the call-in number again? One more time. I always forget.
720-310.
Not Tads. Just tell them.
Tads.
I'm not dialing it.
8237.
There we go. I don't want to screw up. 8237. See, I can't
And
get
just-
it.
just
I can't
So
really quick,
her aide said the man came in and demanded of the cops, "You have my marijuana. You have my weed." The new law, which took effect February 26, made possession of 2 ounces or less of marijuana in the district a legal recreational activity for those 21 and over. D.C. police can return seized marijuana under various scenarios. Imagine the police catch you with pot and think you're underage. If you prove otherwise, you get your pot back.
Can or must?
You know.
Can.
They're gonna make it.
They're cops, buddy.
They're
It's
probably gonna
never
make it
a
hard.
must.
They're gonna make it hard. They're gonna be like, "Oh, that stuff's been smoked a long time ago."
If
That's what they're gonna
police
say.
sees what they think
They're gonna
that
keep-
it's more than 2 ounces and learn that it's less, you get your pot back.
That's just like Amsterdam was. It was fun. There was like times where they had scales out, and I was like, "Yes, I get my shit back," because I knew
They
it was
just
under.
bust you and whip out digis?
Yeah,
Really? Are there scales?
at shows and stuff, they do it too.
Well, yeah, I know that.
That I've had happen to me personally. They've at a show here specifically when I first
When? What
moved
show?
here.
What show?
It was a reggae show at the Summit. And
they made sure you had more.
They made sure I had less than, because it was before I had my Colorado ID. It was all that stuff. So they made sure they pulled out a scale in front of me, sat it on the bar, and weighed my herb to make sure that it wasn't more, because I was flaunting it. They caught me out rolling a joint with a big bag, so they wanted to be.
Well, there you go. That's the whole thing.
But I mean, still, like,
whole
we're
Just
point.
moved to Colorado.
Hey, I got a
Yeah.
big bag of weed, and I'm
I
rolling
was
a joint
definitely being
in
a
front of
dumbass
show.
because I had just
And they're like, "Hey, dickhead."
had just moved here. Hey, dickhead, yeah, we're gonna
Yeah.
try to fuck you now if that's
Pretty much,
if we
yeah.
can.
They dickheaded you.
Whatever.
So what's going on? Do we have Adam, or am I telling his story, or is he telling his story? We got 6 minutes left in news.
Do it. Hey, let's do something else. Yeah, do the other
We
thing.
did.
Yeah,
That
do you
was-
have Moss news?
Now I'll get something.
You get something?
Yeah, no other news.
Let me know when you
That
pull
was your
something.
What was that article that Adam was in? Adam was in the news today.
Oh, right about the was
news,
it Uruguay?
news. Yeah, and I'm the I'm the poster boy. It's the Guardian. It was in the Guardian. So maybe actually UK Cure has seen it. You never know.
Yeah, Cure might have seen
He
it.
may have seen it. He may have said, "Hey, there's my friend Adam, pretending to be from Uruguay." Which I'm like, "No, I'm not from Uruguay."
It says in the caption that
Yeah, what
you're
is
a
it?
seed dealer or something.
Oh,
at
seed
a-
dealer.
Yeah, it's
Seed
really
dealer.
They make it sound like I don't know how they make it sound shady, but they make it sound shady.
Of course,
Uh,
they made me sound shady.
Right, and they just take pictures that don't have anything to do with the story. And that bothers me too.
yeah.
Well, it's definitely taken out of context.
Yeah. What else do we
That's
got
the
here?
way.
News.
So, is there? Come on, there was something else. No big news. I thought you had it all lined up.
no,
You had
that
big
was all the news I had.
Oh man, the rabbits were good though. The rabbit was so dumb. The rabbit story is so dumb that it was just like that was one of those things that stood out in my brain. Like, how could they even? How could you go to the Congress or whatever? Who were they standing for? How could you do that? It would be like the most. You'd think your career's over at that point, right? Wouldn't you? Just everyone looked at you like
No, they get promotions, man.
they're like, "Oh, that was a good one right there."
You want this one?
Yeah, it was good. I mean,
Okay, I
did
got
you-
one.
That's about the same level.
It's about it's on the same
it's the
ridiculous
exact same
level.
because he said you're addicted to vegetables. Everyone's
From Raw Story, Pat Robertson, smoking pot is, quote, slavery to vegetables, but God can set you free. Yes, slavery to vegetables. Televangelist Pat Robertson said on Monday that people who smoked marijuana, used cocaine, or consumed alcohol had been enslaved by vegetables. God gave you and me as human beings authority. He gave us dominion over everything on this earth.
Yes.
The TV preacher explained on Monday's 700 Club.
awesome.
Over all the animals, all the snakes, all the birds, all
He
the
separated
plants,
snakes from animals.
all
like,
the vegetables.
Right, like it doesn't like a snake's not an animal.
snakes not
They're
animals.
created on different days. Cocaine is the product of a vegetable.
Yeah, that
Alcohol is the product of a vegetable, and marijuana is a vegetable. He
I didn't even know.
continued.
He said it is.
And yet-
that was the best. It is a vegetable.
And yet-
I had to laugh.
People are enslaved to vegetables. And you were made in the image of God. God made you in his image to reign and rule with him. He gave you incredible authority.
Right, and like
Incredible.
Vegetables and
Why
fruits
would
were-
you become a slave to a vegetable? Why? Why would you do it?
Wow.
That's what that
Robertson
says.
said that he had seen, quote, a lot of stuff in his lifetime, so he understood that people had a lot of problems. And God Almighty is obviously the deliverance. Your slavery to vegetables, he can set you free, he insisted.
So we're slaves to vegetables.
Well,
Well, everybody's slave
the
to
irony is
vegetable,
that
obviously.
the United States Department of Agriculture officially classifies cannabis not as a vegetable.
Of course it's not.
as an herb.
Of course it's not a
And
vegetable.
again,
That's the
weren't-
first part that I had to laugh at the most.
No matter what you believe in, or like religious wise, whatever, the first two life forms that were on this earth for any reason, I mean, 9 times out of 10, people are going to tell you.
This is going to get
People-
really.
Well, no.
This is getting really
No, there's nothing
good.
good about it. If you ask 9 out of 10 people, I guarantee you 9 of them will tell you that they were herbivores. The first planets, the first beings on this planet
Vegetables.
ate herbs, and that was that. So vegetables.
That was that.
And that's that. They were though. The first dinosaurs were herbivores. They ate vegetables and grass. They didn't
Vegetables.
have herbivores because there weren't other creatures. So
They
they
didn't
didn't
have
have
they didn't
carnivores
have
because there weren't other creatures. So the first thing on here were slaves to the fucking vegetable too. So that guy can suck a dick.
Well, that was a great argument. Right
Pretty much
there.
how I feel about that.
That was a great one. All right, so now we know
Kids
that they're
Corner.
both retarded. Right there, yeah.
Oh, dude, someone spotted me. I was celeb spotted.
Oh,
Nice.
Just ran into Mitch and Elsa from the Adam Dunn Show at a random bagel shop in Denver. This place is better than Hollywood.
Oh man.
There you go,
So
dude.
I have some
Yeah.
news. I have a little.
There's
a little,
news. That was
I was telling Adam earlier today, I caught some heat from an Instagram post I made yesterday that I quickly had to remove.
Oh yeah. you
I
did.
posted an Instagram video first thing in the morning of me taking a dab and blowing the smoke in Duke's face, who was like laying right next to me. And I'm pretty sure that it had to be maybe 10 minutes, 15 minutes later, PETA was blowing up
He
my
got,
shit.
he got
dude.
peated out.
Peter,
Somebody tagged IMB4
Las Vegas.
hashtag PETA.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming somebody from PETA was looking at PETA hashtags and saw my
said-
video.
And said,
I mean, 10 minutes later, I had
he had heat on.
angry comments
had
on my
Pam
Instagram,
Ann
and I
boobs
just,
on-
I just took the video down.
how angry,
Was
kid?
Pam
Telling
Ann's
me-
boobs on your
telling
head?
me how
Like,
that I should not be allowed to own my pet because I was blowing smoke in his face and it's very harmful for him. I mean,
You were
clearly
enslaving
people-
him to vegetables.
Right, I wasn't. I was enslaving him to
He is
vegetables.
a dog, and you can't make him a slave to
So
vegetables.
thanks, PETA, for making me take my picture down or my video down.
you're going to get real heat.
What do you think on getting? We have 50 seconds before we got Greg.
Can you
Greg
quick-
DeHote is
Do
going
the
to call
quick.
you.
Hey, throw that last news up because he can't. He can't.
What
do
last
it.
news? I
You
did it.
Did Adams also? That was Adams.
Oh, I'm going to do it. Okay.
Yeah, 'cause
News.
There you
Nice.
go. So
Adam Eidinger was flying high as chairman of the D.C. Cannabis campaign. He helped spearhead the push to legalize marijuana in the nation's capital. When the law went into effect Thursday, he retreated to his campaign headquarters and took a victory toke, then another, and another. Now, just a few days later, Eidinger is feeling low. On Tuesday, the D.C. Council passed emergency legislation offered by Mayor Muriel E. Bowser that Eidinger says will undermine some provisions of the original law and hamper further liberalization of marijuana use. Bowser's legislation doubles down on restricting marijuana use to the home, making clear that the prohibition on smoking outdoors doesn't mean that any old indoors will do. You won't be allowed to smoke inside any business registered with the city, not in a nightclub, private club, hotel, bar, or restaurant, to name a few. This is nice nonsense, your buddy says. People who want to grow and smoke marijuana are tired of living like criminals. What do you think?
sounds like here.
Sounds like here. Let's get him. This is a long article, so I'm not going to keep reading it.
No, we'll get him. We'll get him here. I mean,
All right.
this is a whole other.
All right, Cure, you're up.
Cool.
I'll message the man. You're on.
You
Oh, Skype him. Can you just Skype call him?
No, I'd rather receive the call.
We'd rather receive.
Make it.
Ryan's a catcher.
Ryan's a catcher. No, no.
No, I just don't want to put too much stress on the CPU. So if we can receive the call instead of having to try to dial out, that'd be great.
There you go. CPU. It's always been CPU with those guys.
It's always the CPU with these fucking guys, dude.
It's always
like,
that. It's always
the CP fucking you.
CP fucking you.
ICUP. Remember that? iCup.
iCup. Oh, you look like you're really enjoying iCup.
So, tell us
global cannabis activism, Adam.
Well, it depends where you live, obviously. If you live somewhere where it's really necessary, then you may become super active and or totally not active because you're so scared.
Why are they like? Is there places that they crack down like super hard?
I crap.
Crackdown? Yeah, of
crap
course.
all
I mean,
Like
time.
on activists, not even on
Oh, I
You know
mean,
what
I'm
I'm
sure.
saying?
I'm sure.
Like
you
in
know,
Russia,
Are
if you
there places
protest
that
for
you
weed,
crack?
will they
Yeah.
like
Oh,
hit
I'm-
you with sticks and
I
like
bet they
put you
will.
in jail?
Here we
Oh,
go.
there it is.
It's that sound. UK Cure. Is that you? Are we live? Oh, it's going down, UK.
Cure, do we have you?
Uh-oh.
He just can't hear us.
Oh, you can't hear us, but we have you. But we're fixing that, buddy.
Hold on. there.
Oh, it's so bad. The UK is a terrible place. Is he beatboxing?
I'm gonna hang up on him.
That was pretty odd. That was like drum and bass right there or something. It's like he's either at a party. Wow, I had to take the headphones off. That was like, blah, 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 blah. Sorry about that, everybody.
He's good. He can hear us now. He's good as long as he calls
Okay,
back in. but we
okay.
can't-
Try that. Where he said he couldn't hear anything.
he can now. We just
One more
can't
time.
hear us.
And
He's gonna try that again.
bring that down a little bit.
Yeah,
That's a
we'll
little
lower
left.
Cure. Do that.
There we go.
He's
So-
calling on the Skype. Good.
Hey, buddy.
How's it going?
Ah, that's much better.
That's much
Sounds
better.
Were you beatboxing?
What was
before?
going
Is
on
that-
there?
was
That was crazy.
Oh no, I wish I could do that. It sounded like there was a car engine going past, so
I don't
it
know.
was like maybe it was distorted in 8-bit.
Yeah, it was pretty
Back in the
crazy. Hey Ben, hey Ben, my friend.
Yeah, not too bad. Keeping on top of things. There's quite a lot of media propaganda going on at the moment. It's reefer madnessville in the UK. Skunk is killing everyone.
Yeah,
Yeah,
everyone. I know you guys. I'm surprised you're still alive. I mean, Jesus, you
I know
must-
with all the skunk.
with all the
smokes.
skunk you've been smoking. My God, how you survive? It's amazing. But yeah, I know they
it's-
never stop over there, do they? They've always been pretty ridiculous, I should say.
We got our own station. You can
They've
say
literally
so.
just done a cannabis week in the media where they've thrown everything out. There was this study that's come out saying that skunk is much worse than hash, which is a strange concept. But they've just done this program called Drugs Live, the cannabis trials, where they got this 67-year-old TV presenter who obviously doesn't blaze up very much, to vaporize 2 full volcano bags of Bedrocan, which I think you can you confirm that's super silver haze, Adam? I don't know if
Yeah,
you,
yeah,
if
it is.
you're-
It is
What
now.
is it?
It is nowadays. Yeah, no, it wasn't before, but it is now.
What is it? What is it?
Yeah,
The bedrock.
but they got the Home Office. Yeah, the Dutch medical cannabis strain. They got a Home Office license to import it and give it to these people for this live TV trial, and he freaked out and he said it felt like his soul had been wrenched from his body, and it was worse than being in a war zone. So you can imagine how that went down with the public.
I feel like if you'd
Cannabis
never
community.
blazed and you ripped 2
How-
vape bags of
how do you-
like good
how do you-
super silver haze,
You're not gonna feel like that.
you're gonna feel it could be overwhelming.
Come
It could
on,
be
I mean-
overwhelming.
Yeah, but I mean, it's like they really bring in the weakest of the weak, don't they? When
Yeah,
they do
no,
this,
no,
it's like we had that's our Maureen Dowd situation. So we've got the similar.
Yeah, it was
similar.
totally
vibe.
that. It was totally that.
So for our American listeners, who are most of our listeners, we got a couple UK listeners, and hopefully we have more today with a celebrity such as yourself on here. But for our regular listeners who don't really know what the skunk weed controversy is all about, help us break. So as I get it, and I think this was one of the first things I asked you when we met was like, what is skunk weed? Do you guys really have this? Actually, the first thing I asked you is what is a whitey? Because that seems like a peculiarly British thing.
You asked me that now. It's actually been like people don't call it a whitey since this happened. They call it you pulled a Jon Snow, because that was the reporter that effectively pulled a whitey. So yeah.
So he
known
did.
vocabulary has changed
So he
this
had a
week.
whitey on TV. That's
He
awesome.
Pretty much, he was just like shaking. He's like, I don't really know what to do. He compared it to like being, he said that Gaza was more bearable than skunk. So it's just it's a demonic word that the media and the government have latched onto, to anything that's high THC and low CBD and grown under lights, which is a crap classification. It just makes no sense, because we all know that it's genetics that determine whether it's got THC and CBD in it, and just to say one plant is skunk just because it's got THC in it, it's just stupid. It's a brand name, really, isn't it? They even mentioned that Dave Watson brought Skunk over to Europe on it, and they did a little animation of him as a hippie, like
Really?
dancing across the globe. It was funny. But what they didn't say was that Dave Watson, Sam Skunkman, also sold the seeds to GW Pharmaceuticals. So the skunk that they're saying is bad is actually medical cannabis, which is what they're saying is good.
Right. So it's a classic example. And I mean, and that's the funny part with GW is that they've been doing it for a while, and it's always kind of blown my mind that, like, you know, the UK, it's so unsophisticated when it comes to cannabis with other, you know, within the general population. Like, you know, people had to, you know, kind of to a level. There was a moment in time, I think, because I remember when, like, the late 80s, they were kind of lenient enough that they didn't really pay attention. There was enough people growing it that kind of got away with it, and no one seemed to really care. But then it kind of now it's like, yeah, it's chaos, you know, as far as, like, you know, nobody's growing good because everybody's scared and nobody's paying attention, and it's very hard to find. I mean, there's still a few professional growers.
Right. Oh, we lost him.
Yeah, he hung up on his call.
Sorry, we lost you there. I don't know how long I was talking by myself.
Greg, do we have you back?
No, I heard you say the UK are pretty unsophisticated.
So he hung up. He got pissed. Yeah,
you got all mad. You got
also
mad.
have Brian Rubin calling in right now.
Oh, Brian Rubin.
If we talking, we can tell him to call back.
Yeah, that's my friend from. He's also lived in Amsterdam, so
we'll bring him in later.
Yeah, Brian, give us a call back, pal.
We'll call.
Give us a call back in about 10 minutes, bro.
We'll have Brian right after this. Yeah, he's definitely worth having on the show.
Cool.
We were just saying how, like, the growers there aren't really, you know, putting too much money towards the grows because they're, you know, like, never sure if it's going to be lasting long, or, you know what I mean. Yet GW's been there for how many years? About not 10 years they've been running.
Since 1998, so like
98,
you know,
so.
getting on for 20 years now.
20 years even. It's amazing.
I mean, they've been doing all the tests, you know, testing cannabinoids, been popping thousands of, you know, seeds, buying up genetics from all over the place, and you know, they've got a lot of patents being put out there, and it's all happening under our nose, and no one seems to be, you know, too bothered about it, you know, crazily.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's a lot of people growing in the UK, but they're not like over there. Like when I came out to Denver in 2011, it was overwhelmingly heady. Like people, you know, got up and did their shit. Over here, people like they find it hard to push it forward. Really, I think that's what's really kept it held back. People haven't sort of like taken the bull by the horns and really, you know, said we want this. But I think you had it out there, and well, you're obviously seeing the results of it now, and we're trailing behind.
And where's it at? Is the tide turning?
You're all pulling whiteys. You're all pulling whiteys.
Whiteys all over. I mean,
whiteys all over town.
I feel like
they were smoking like fake hash for years. Well, I say fake hash. It was soap bar, so the quality was like ridiculous. It had black bags in it, and, you know, literally diesel, not the real diesel, not the real strain diesel, actual like petrol diesel. Record scrapings and vacuum cleaner bags emptied out into it, and people were smoking that and thought it was, you know, hash. It's only in the last sort of 10 years that the market has changed from predominantly like traditional hash and shitty soap bar hash into you know, high grade, you know, what they're calling skunk, skunk is just high grade cannabis. It's what you term as medicinal cannabis. We don't really have a concept of, you know, lows, mids, and highs over here because you get what you're given. The market has not demanded a better product. It's taken the shitty, wet, soggy, undried, uncured, unmanicured buds in, you know, crappy 10 bags. You know, for 20 quid, you know, people still call it an eighth, but they don't get an eighth. They get 1.5, and it's utter bollocks. It won't. If you leave it out of the bag for an hour, it'll go down to a gram. Right. It's not, you know, not being finished properly. It's not being flushed. People accept that, but that's the mass of the market. Things have got better, I'd say, in the last 3 years. It's a lot easier to find a lot of nugs, you know, different strains, and even CBD cannabis. And, you know, when I came back from America, it was nigh impossible to get CBD genetics. But we've, you know, a lot of that's down to the improvements, down to the hard work we've done, like getting the cannabis social clubs up and running. We've got like nearly 100 little social clubs, like little groups around the country now, like
that's good.
Growing for themselves and distributing cannabis at low, you know, affordable price. You know, at a fair trade really.
Sure.
We can't do a commercial like model yet, so we've sort of written a guidelines for people to start their own cannabis social club, as they did in Spain 15 years ago, and hopefully we can position ourselves when they do try and bring in legislation to say, hey, we've already got something going on.
Yeah. What was that original guy that was downtown that was just blatantly growing weed in the windows of his place, and it's kind of famous? There was a dude, kind of another eccentric dude in London. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Tony's holistic centre, was it that guy?
It might have been.
He's bringing in like kilos from Switzerland as well, I think.
Yeah, back in the day, and it was just like he went nuts and just
didn't he give like a bouquet of cannabis to the Queen or something? Like when she was walking through?
That was Colin Davies. That was
Colin
he
Davies,
opened
yeah.
the first coffee shop in Manchester back in 2001 with Noel Van Schaik.
Yeah, he used to come to the. Is that the guy in the wheelchair, or that's the other guy?
I don't know. I'm not sure Colin's in a wheelchair.
No,
I don't think he is.
There was another guy. Another little
or
activist that used to come. I forget his name. Another guy was really cool. Just come back.
Baldwin.
Because Amsterdam was, that was like obviously the vacation land for all the people who would fight in the fight. Would come to Amsterdam and feel the freedom, and hang out at the CIA. And that was our, basically the difference was. The Americans who came there were really there to buy seed and kind of like on a big mission. UK they always wanted it. They didn't have enough money and they were barely could barely make it like back and forth. I don't know. There wasn't that many big growers. It was all like smaller growers, but like very passionate people.
There's always been a difference between the American like weed game and the British weed game. Like over here, there's a lot more consumer, and there's a lot more consumers. They're the kind of people that get involved with the activism.
Yeah.
The business people stay involved with the business. They don't like to associate with anything to do with like the activism side of things, or like the promotion side of things, making it legal. They really do not have an interest in making it legal. Like they're happy to carry on doing it the way they're doing it. Otherwise, they would have, they would have kicked up a bit of support for us. Now, in the last 5 years, they've been sticking our necks out.
What's the difference also between smoking hash and smoking weed? And we had the ability to grow. Somebody's growing it, or they're importing it, and we kind of got. If you lived near California, then you were definitely not smoking. Mexi weed unless you were just low on the totem pole and not really caring. So you easily could get access to some decent weed. And then, UK, it was kind of like to get good weed, it was always like a real struggle.
You have to be pretty high up there to get it not stepped on.
You got soap bar all day long, you know what I mean? Shitty hash. And then you could get good hash, but that was always expensive. And that's, so it was really like, I wouldn't, necessarily feel comfortable hanging out with friends there smoking because everybody smoked with tobacco. And I'd just be like, I had to bring my own weed or bring my own anything. You know how it was always, So, but, I think now it's a little different. I can definitely vouch for a few friends of mine who are
it's killing
there
people like once a week.
Well, everyone's dying, right? So they're all. How many people are left in UK? I don't think you guys have very many left.
So how frequently is the media putting out a story saying that cannabis kills someone
every day almost?
Is it daily?
They know it's clickbait now. That cannabis stories are clickbait. They know that globally. I think, but the media. I think there's the reason media sources have survived online is because they've just published a load of shit. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Is because they're posting cannabis stories. They literally get the most shares. We get. I chair the UK CSC, the Cannabis Social Clubs, and I'm on the board for Normal. So we get emails from media quite a lot asking for stories. A lot of the time we don't go for them because they're looking to try and make cannabis consumers out to be stupid. But the occasional one we get, and we go through with it. But just it's even stories about us. They're just every month there's a big cannabis story, that attention can be drawn to at some point. We actually, going back to the point you made there about not being able to get much over here, like I say, it's changed quite a lot. We actually export more cannabis than we import now, apparently.
Nice.
Really?
Where the hell's it going?
To where?
Probably like Ireland, and but I have heard there are a few other countries in Europe that have got a little bit stricter prohibition on growing that a lot of the weed sort of ends up going out to.
So
there are quite a lot of sort of I call it like boutique growers because they grow good sort of like elite strains, and good genetics, but on a small scale they haven't got they can't grow enough to appeal to a mass, so they just do small grows. But the cost of it is ridiculous in some places. Like London, people will pay, happily pay £360 for an ounce. Not happily, but they'll pay it.
Is that $720 still?
How much is that American?
It's like $700, man,
for an ounce.
for an ounce.
And how is it compared to flour here? Or
It's not as good.
not as good.
It's no. This is for that kind of stuff. You're getting the your top shelf stuff.
Okay.
And I'm not gonna sort of like I'm not gonna name names, but
No, sure.
there's recent cup winners that have able to sort of like get that for their nugs over here. Not
Well,
that I would pay
I think-
personally.
I think a number of people in our chat room are looking at moving to London right now.
Oh, yeah,
Now they're hearing that's what they can get off their ounces. So
Well, there are you can get ounces cheaper. You can get your stuff for $2.40. But it's mids, and there's good quality stuff out there, but you do have to hunt it down. Yeah, it's however much you like bag appeal. How strict are you going to be on it? Like most people I know now are just smoking oils and doing so in pens and travel rigs. It's oil has just made a massive sweep over.
Well, that's a good thing.
Yeah,
Subject
it's,
to jump over to.
is it? Yeah, is that so? That is big in the UK. What's the scene like?
I would
out there?
expect so because they're all
Yeah.
hash smokers to begin with.
Yeah,
so.
yeah.
Yeah, that's it. Like it's so much more discreet. You can get away with it. I vape my oil pen on the train constantly. I'm not driving at the moment. We got trains connected all over the place.
You don't drive the train at the moment?
You don't drive the train while
Don't-
you're
You're
vaping?
not driving the train? I thought you'd drive the train.
No, I'm not driving.
If I'm
No, but
vaping,
I-
I'm always driving a train.
Yeah, you should
That's the
drive the
only
train
time.
while you're vaping.
I
This would
only
be
drive
way
a train
cooler.
when I vape, yeah. It's,
Someone's gonna make that into a pin, surely.
So yeah, I mean, is the social scene out there, and what is the general social like? What's the general man on the street attitude?
We're getting the social scene going. We're trying to get events going in every region of the country, like something happening at least once a month. It's not a big place, the UK. People don't like to travel as much in the UK on a daily basis.
But you
as,
guys travel for soccer or football. You guys will go like all
you
the
go
way
for
to the other
raves.
side
You'll
if
go
there's
for
something going on,
You'll
right?
go for raves or football or some, So I'm sure you'll get people to move around.
No, the cannabis community is picking up. There are a lot of events coming up. We make sure we have a lot of, because we've not got venues that will accept us, to do smoke ups in. So we have like outdoor events, and the police aren't putting too much pressure on us. So don't come and like shut them down or anything like that. But they're getting like bigger turnouts every year, a couple of hundred people, some of them, which is it's just positive. And people are bringing their rigs out and
that's
and
awesome. That's definitely awesome.
dabbing out on like even on the Global Cannabis March last year. People had their rigs and their torches going along during the march.
nice. That's cool.
It was quite cool, yeah.
So is there there's accessibility to concentrates out there, generally speaking?
People are buying it like off the dark net. People are getting it from Amsterdam.
Sure, and it's easier to transport.
I know 5 or 6 people with closed loop systems over here in the UK, and there's quite a few people with like vacuum, like across international ovens and bits and pieces like that. People are stepping it up. Like I think once they realise that once they can get on it, that it's quite easy to sustain if they put the resources there. But I think it's what I when I was out in America, like oil seems to kick things up like a gear. Like people seem to step up to the plate with that, and this is the first time I've really seen it happen in the UK on such a scale. Like people have gone, damn, I want that. I think Instagram's probably had quite a bit to do with that.
Sure.
Like amount of sharing, like, and how quick it is. Like just the knowledge sharing and gaining is really good.
I'm so happy you said that, Greg, because I was talking earlier today about how I saw something on Instagram a couple days, and Mitch was like, "Oh yeah, it's on Instagram. It must be true." But I mean, nowadays it usually is the case. I mean, that's social media networking is somewhere that somebody can put something, like you said, immediately and get it to absolutely anywhere they want, from Europe to America to South Africa to wherever they want.
I was just following a thread on the Ryzen technique. The people are what do they call it?
Like live resin?
Yeah, like the live resin, fresh frozen stuff. Yeah.
And people are saying, is this legit? And they're just saying, yeah, just check the hashtag on Instagram. And it's just like, okay, that's the new Wikipedia.
I guess a picture does say 1,000 words.
Really, and especially if it's from, I mean, there's a lot of people on there now that Even like the major companies out here in Colorado have Instagram, so they let people know when they're doing drops at dispensaries. They send pictures of their process. So like you were saying, you can literally hashtag live resin or hashtag fresh frozen and pretty much learn how to do it just
And
from
definitely
looking
see the
at-
quality. Are you
Right.
seeing it impact the standards for quality in the UK? Kind of that far from the
Yeah,
epicenter?
that's what's coming up like quite a lot now. People are actually going like because there's more social events coming. People are actually seeing the nugs live in front of them as well. So they're going, they're looking at it compared to theirs, which they thought was good when they were bringing it, and they're like, okay. And like we're able to improve quality of oil by going, actually, no, have a dab of this. This is what cup winning oil tastes like. We've been I've been lucky to get out of quite a bit of the OCD stuff recently, so we've been giving people a lot of like different flavors that they wouldn't normally get over here, and they're starting to sort of like open their mind up to saying, oh shit, amnesia and cheese aren't the only strains out there.
Yeah. And are you seeing as a result of that, people demanding better from their sources, and are you seeing them sort of asking or shooting for higher standards in their own production?
Yeah, I think people want to improve because everyone wants the credibility, don't they? And they want to be able to if they're hyping something that's shit, they're just not gonna get the respect they want. So people are starting to put in the hard work because it's all on show now, and if you're not putting it on show, you feel left out, I guess. It's the social media has been a huge benefit to us in like the really sort of like prohibited countries because it has helped connect people a lot more just by putting like UK Cannabis Society or I don't know on Instagram. You can hook up with loads of people and you can always find someone in your area. The amount of people I know that have met just randomers online just from a hashtag. That's how I started this whole cannabis thing. Really, is by getting on Twitter and just finding other people. It's when I found came across like the first sort of like earwax in 2009. I think I was seeing that stuff.
And that's what's awesome about like Twitter and Instagram's not as lenient as Twitter is, but I mean Twitter, you can post pictures of anything you want, and nobody flags them. They can't be taken down for any reason unless it's like child pornography or things of that nature. But you can on Instagram, I mean on Facebook right away, if you post pictures of anything that's illegal, whether it be herbs
blowing smoke into a dog's face.
Blowing
that doesn't work
dog's
out.
face, which doesn't work out well.
Terrible.
But that's what's great about Instagram is because, like you said, you started seeing pictures in 2009 of the first earwax. When if that maybe had gotten posted on Facebook and Instagram hadn't been around, you might not have seen that because it might have been up and
Thank God.
taken down. So thank God for
man, thank
social.
God.
I'm sorry, I'm just on this. I'm just happy he said
You're just
something about social media because I was given a hard time.
You know
earlier,
what's
so I'm on
funny
a
about social
kick.
media and Ryan?
Yeah, let's
That
hear
he's
it.
not doing our social media.
Yeah, I know. I don't handle. We lost Greg.
We lost Greg. He didn't want to hear about social media.
He didn't want to hear about this social media. I bet
he'll call back.
So, trying to get.
What are you trying to get at him? You can talk into the mic. It's okay. Everybody can hear.
Right. No, I'm trying to get, I can try to get my other friend down in Jamaica to give us because he was hanging out with the Westmoreland crew,
Those guys nice.
and I figured
Do you know Milo? I think I got Milo's number.
Milo from where?
From the
England?
Italian
Milo?
guy in Jamaica.
Oh,
No,
it's-
Milo. Jesus, Ryan.
My dog Skip. Is that like what?
What?
Mio?
The Mask?
Uh.
Jim Carrey?
Yeah. Matt Riot asks if you're the Ryan guy that you say who says Matt Riot was mean to him. You told me Matt Riot was mean to you.
I never said Matt. I've
Yes,
never
you
even
did.
met Matt.
No, that's what he said.
No, Matt was the only thing that I had any connection with. Matt was the old guy from. Hey, Greg, the old guy from Dixie who was
What?
when I walked into Dixie the first time to start there, they had a hemp temp in working.
Okay.
The whole
All right,
setup.
we got it.
But there's
convoluted.
Jesus.
Yeah, convoluted.
Convoluted. Do we have you back, Greg?
Yeah, I'm back. Sorry, I don't know. What
It's all the fog. It's all the fog gets into the wires. and
Fog
stuff.
gets in the
Mr.
wire.
of the Shire.
Yeah. So, how's the weather?
Yeah. No, so
Tell us how the weather is over there. Is it
you
great?
guys have a scene coming up, and is there first of all, how does the public respond to it, and then how does the law enforcement respond to it? Those are kind of the ultimate questions, I guess, for a cannabis activist, right?
I have been approached by several police crime commissioners around the country, so the people in charge of the budget of how they spend money in their force, and how to deal with cannabis in their areas, they know that there are problems caused by Vietnamese gangs, and they charging £400 an ounce up in the northeast, for sort of like, it's just strains like Cherry AK and stuff like that. But people, there's hype around it, so people want it, and they know that the money's going to into bad for bad uses. They know there's people trafficking and weapons trafficking involved in like these international organisations. So they come to us to say like what's the best way to do with this, and because we've got a sort of the Cannabis Social Club model, we're sort of educating them on that. They think that's a much better idea. Politically, it's hard to get anything said in public, but there's a lot of MPs that support regulation, whatever form it's in. I don't think they've made their mind up yet, but they know that change needs to be made. And what else did you ask me then?
And then how is it? We just read the survey that 58% of Americans
He said Americans
support legalization. Where's it at over there? What is the average person's opinion?
You're at 16%, just like we were.
It's actually about 69%.
What? Really?
77% of MPs, members of Parliament,
77%
want to
of the members.
legalise it, but there's no budge. Like the government say that the drugs policy is working. When it
How
comes
does
to
your
a
government
vote
work
when-
there? Does this have to do with the monarchy? Is that why you can't do something here?
I actually think cannabis legalisation is scheduled out in the UK, and it now really is only a matter of time, because the cat's been let out of the bag over in America. They're just seeing how things work. They're going to plan it out. I think this skunk propaganda is all trying to prepare media to say, because basically they came out and said traditional cannabis and hash is okay. It's skunk is